Thank you, Senator Rosen. Senator Budd.
Thank you, Chairman. General, it's good to see you again. Thanks for your willingness to serve. Enjoyed our meeting in your, my office last week. It was a great discussion. Let's talk for a minute about China. Their strategy for expanding their power, it's operated a lot in using gray zone tactics or military and civil action somewhere between the boundaries of peace and war. And it's difficult to confront with conventional military force. Admiral Paparo, he stated that special operations forces are crucial for competing in the gray zone and that SOF is underinvested in the Pacific Command. Can you talk about your views on the role of SOF at all stages of conflict and what investments should be made to grow these capabilities?
Well, Senator, thanks for that question. As somebody who's proudly been a part of the Special Operations Forces, I appreciate greatly the exponential return that those forces can provide to the nation. And when I think about creating multiple dilemmas for Xi Jinping, many of those dilemmas are created through America's Special Operations Forces, where we build great partnerships, we help train our allies and partners. When required, we're able to execute sensitive missions that help us to illuminate the threat in a more thoughtful way. And so I would agree with Admiral Paparo's views on soft forces in the Pacific, but would defer to General Fenton, who probably has strong views on that. And if confirmed, I'll consult with him on these matters.
Thank you. I appreciate your commentary that they deliver an exponential return. I believe indeed they do. In your advanced policy questions, you underscore the importance of synchronization between the DoD and the intelligence community. How do you propose we do that?
Well, Senator, it really starts with trusting and deep relationships. I'm fortunate in my last job to have learned the value of making sure that the best of the Title 10 community is linked up with the best of the Title 50 community to get to almost Title 60-like outcomes. I realize that there is no Title 60, but I put that in quotation marks. And if confirmed, I'll continue with that pathway forward. We have an incredible Associate Director for Military Affairs at the CIA now, Lieutenant General Mike Downs, who carries on and is probably doing a much better job than I ever did over there. And so if confirmed, we'll continue to build on those relationships. And I think it extends beyond just the DoD and CIA relationship. It extends into the relationship that we have with the State Department. It extends into the relationship that we have with the other elements of the interagency as well.
Thank you. Also, in your advanced policy questions, you mentioned that the service chiefs and combatant commanders, they use their unfunded priorities list as essential tools in communicating to us here in Congress the ideas or in the areas where additional resources could significantly enhance military readiness and capabilities. You also state that unfunded priority lists, they're not the only tool to build a strategy-informed defense budget. So where do you think the DoD is currently leveraging to align the defense budget and the defense strategy, and where's there room for improvement on that?
Well, sir, I'm not yet back in the service, so I need to read the current version of the National Defense Strategy if I'm
best guess outside looking in, sir.
I think we need to continue our efforts in the Pacific, and that would be my early read without actually being into the intel record.
Thank you. Last year, combatant commanders, they testified before this committee, speaking to the value and the relevance of the F-15E Strike Eagle in their respective areas of responsibility. So as a fighter pilot with extensive experience in combat and homeland defense missions, can you speak to the value and utility of the fourth generation fleet, specifically the F-15E and the 16, which you flew, and whether you find it wise to reduce these inventories prior to taking delivery of the potential replacements? I guess it's the divest to invest strategy, if you'd comment on that, please.
Yes, sir. Thanks for that question. What we can't do is leave something uncovered in the interim. And when I think about at least the F-16, for example, they're predominantly tasked with homeland defense at this point in time. And we can't ever let another 9/11 happen. So we have to make sure that we do not divest so much that we lose coverage in places that we must have to sustain that combat capability. We obviously need a probably 4th and 5th gen and 6th gen mix for a while until we get to the point where we're all where we need to be on 6th gen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.